Now, I want to talk about advantages of Afa. The first advantage of Afa is direction. Everybody have a certain, like they say, life is in phases. So when you come, there are some certain phase of life that you will come into, that you reach, and you might be confused on what next. For example, a young graduate finishing school, the graduate is confused. Should I go into business? Should I go into should I go and search for job? Now, for some people, the answers might be a no-brainer. Then for others, the person might be genuinely confused on what next to do because the person do not want to take any step that will mar him or her. In that kind of state of confusion, you can go to Afa. What should I do? That I just finished school. Should I go and search for job, or should I go and start and learn a trade and start a business? That's where direction. That's where Afa can be good for direction. Also, the young lady might want, should I want to settle down? Should I marry? Who should I marry? So Afa can give you a good direction. Do not marry this man. If you marry this man, your life might be in danger. If you marry this woman, you might not be able to have a fulfilled life. So Afa can give you direction at this kind of critical phase of your life. Now, the second one is exposition. Afa can expose some certain things that are hidden. They can expose some certain things that are hidden. That no matter how much you inquire, you will not be able to find out the answers. That's where Afa is good for exposition. It can help you to understand some things that can happen in the future. Nobody knows the future, but even Afa itself does not know the future 100%. But it can help you to expose what the future holds in store for you. A little. I'm not among those that believe that Afa can 100% predict the future. No, life is a mystery. Life is a mystery. What Afa will do is that it can expose the future in parts for you. It cannot expose all the future because I do not think that there is anything in this life that can predict the future accurately 100%. So do not make the mistake of thinking that Afa can 100% expose the future. No, that kind of thinking is wrong. Now, the second thing is that it gives security. It gives you security. The third thing is security. Afa can give you security. Some certain knowledge gives you secures you. For example, it can tell you that avoid this person, avoid this, avoid taking this kind of step, avoid making this kind of movement. Those kind of movements can endanger your life. So in a situation like this, it gives you security. It helps you to avoid movement or decision or actions that can endanger your life. So Afa provides security. The fourth thing is it cracks mystery. There are some things about life that are very mysterious. When you come to that kind of place in your life, that maybe there are some certain things that happened in the past over 200 years ago, and in Igbo there is what they call Ife Nile Senitego. That means something that happened long ago is now coming back to take effect, and you do not know how this thing happened. You may not be even be part of it. Perhaps it was something that your ancestors did, and the effect is now coming now to take place. Afa can help to crack such mysteries, to say, okay, this is why something like this is happening. Perhaps sometime 200 years ago or 150 years ago, someone in the family made a certain kind of promise, and that promise was not fulfilled. This is why this is happening. Maybe 200 years ago, a certain female member of the family was married away, and the female member of the family died, and the family members did not go to inquire what killed the female member of the family. And right now it's beginning to be a problem for the members of that particular family, whereas there is no living member of the family that was part of this problem that happened 200 years ago. So this is a kind of mystery. So Afa can help in cracking mysteries that are hidden away in the past. Now the fifth one is unique. Afa is unique to Igbos. It is a system created by our ancients, by our Ndembo, the first Igbos, for their children, to help guide their children in their journey of life. If they have a problem, they are expected to go to Afa and find out solution to that problem. Now I want to talk about the disadvantages. Anything that has advantage in life has disadvantage. There is no single thing that has only advantage. So also is Afa. Afa has its own disadvantages. So I want to talk about its own disadvantages. The first disadvantage is confusion. It can lead you into confusion. It can genuinely lead you into confusion. That is why I always want people not to over-rely, they should be very careful before going to Afa. They should make sure that they prepare themselves. If you are confused and you are going to Afa, you might end up in more confusion. I want to believe the best way to avoid the confusion that comes from Afa is by going to Afa with singleness of purpose. You have a clear mission, what you want to inquire. But once you do not know what you want to inquire, you are just going to Afa, you might end up coming more confused, because it will say too many things. That's why some people call Afa Agadi Okwasel. That means the old woman that is used to gossip, that is disposed to gossip, that reveals so much information. The second disadvantage of Afa is that it can easily be abused. It can easily be abused both by the diviner and by the seeker. An Afa diviner who is hungry can abuse the Afa and start saying things that the Afa did not say, perhaps because he or she wants to make money. That's why there is also an Igbo saying that says thus: Ebula go when Agba Afa ona dozu ozu. That means when a diviner is hungry and is going into divination, that the diviner will be saying problems. Because those problems will be solved, and to solve it, you have to pay money. The third one is that it's a hindrance to spiritual development. Over-reliance of Afa is a hindrance to spiritual problem. Over-reliance on Afa is a hindrance to one's spiritual development. Man is a spirit. And as a spirit, it means you are capable of solving your problems, but only if you develop your spiritual stamina. However, if you are depending on Afa, it means it's a kind of outsourcing. It's a kind of outsourcing what you would have done inside, but because you do not have the capabilities to solve those problems, you outsource it. But one needs to develop to the extent that once you run into a problem, like when I said that one of the advantages of Afa is cracking mysteries, you can develop your spirit, man, that if you have a problem, you can find out what happened in the past. Even 200 to 500 years ago, you can peek into the window of the past, into the window of nature, to find out those problems. But only if you can develop your spiritual stamina. But how can you develop your spiritual stamina when you keep outsourcing? So, over-reliance of Afa is a kind of hindrance to spiritual development. Now, the fourth disadvantages is that it's not specific. Afa at times is not specific. It can tell you this, it can say that something like this is going to happen, but it's not going to tell you the date it's going to happen. For example, it can say that this thing is going to happen on Eke, but it is not going to tell you the particular Eke day. Afa can tell you that something strange is going to happen to you on Eke day, or something good is going to happen to you on Eke day, but you do not know the particular Eke day that is going to happen. So at times, Afa is not specific. That's one of the disadvantages. So they can tell you that there is a woman. Who is the woman? There is this certain who is the person. So at times it's not specific. Now, it can bring out information that is not due. There are some information that we do not have the mental stamina to handle. No, I think the emotional intelligence to handle. For example, if you find out that someone, an uncle or an auntie, did something wrong to you in the past, you may not yet have the emotional intelligence to handle it very well. And Afa brings out this kind of information. If someone with a poor emotional intelligence, all the person will be thinking about is vengeance, vengeance, vengeance. So Afa is prone to bringing out information that perhaps the recipients do not have the emotional intelligence to handle. Now, the sixth disadvantages of Afa is what? Resources. It eats your resources. Anybody that depends heavily on Afa will be spending so much money, because any little thing you run to Afa, and right now people are making a lot of money from it. Number 6, it eats deep into your pocket. Someone that overindulge in Afa anyone that overindulge in Afa will always be spending money, so it eats up your finances, because every now and then, any little headache you run to Afa, any little dream you run to Afa for interpretation, any little thing or anytime you visit an Afa diviner, you are going to drop money because you need his or her services. Depending on the Afa diviner, it might cost you little money, it might cost you big money. So overindulging in Afa eats one's resources. That is it on disadvantages of Afa. I would like to see your thoughts in the comment section. Drop your thoughts on this teaching on Igbo Divination System known as Afa. Thank you.